Steelers Nation, welcome back to the channel where we keep it real, raw, and always black and gold. If you're like us, constantly craving updates on what's happening inside the Steelers front office, locker room, and practice field, then you're in the right place. This team is pushing hard to improve every single day, and we're watching that process unfold right before our eyes. From bold trades to veteran signings to strategic coaching tweaks, Pittsburgh is pulling every lever possible to bring postseason success back to the 412. Before we dive in, do us a favor. Smash that like button if you believe this team is moving in the right direction. It helps more Steelers fans find our content and join the conversation. Now let's get into the big story. Tyler Boyd is absolutely interested in joining the Steelers, but does it make sense? And how would he fit in a wide receiver room, now run by Aaron Rodgers? Plus, we've got insight from WR coach Zach Atzani about how Rodgers is already demanding more from this group, and how George Pickens, exit midav, had more layers than we thought. Let's break it all down. Let's start with the headline that got everybody talking. Veteran WR Tyler Boyd says he is absolutely open to joining the Steelers, speaking at his youth camp this past weekend. Boyd told Pittsburgh Sports Now that he's not just open to a homecoming, he's hoping it happens. Greater than absolutely, Boyd said. You know, all my family is here. I'd be able to have the majority of them be able to support me. Boyd, a Pittsburgh native, reportedly talked with the team last offseason too, before ultimately signing a one-year deal with the Tennessee Titans. His 2024 campaign in Nashville didn't go the way he hoped, just 39 catches for 390 yards. But he's made it clear that he's looking to play 3 to 4 more seasons. And finishing his career at home would mean everything. Now, here's the real question. Should the Steelers be interested? It's not crazy. Boyd's numbers were down last season, but let's be honest, the quarterback situation in Tennessee was unstable. Go back to his time in Cincinnati, and you'll see a reliable WR3 who helped the Bengals reach a Super Bowl and 2 division titles. Even in 2023, with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins eating up targets, Boyd still posted 67 receptions for 667 yards. He's not a burner. He's not going to replace DK Metcalf. But what he does offer is dependable route running, experience, and chemistry in the slot, something Pittsburgh might lack behind. Metcalf right now, let's not forget, this wide receiver room is very young. Calvin Austin III is being handed WR2 reps, but he's still unproven. Roman Wilson is raw. Robert Woods brings a veteran presence, but we don't know how many snaps he'll realistically play. Adding Boyd to that mix would give the Steelers insurance, and more importantly, someone Rodgers could trust on third down. Speaking of trust, let's shift to what WR coach Zach Atzani said this week that really grabbed our attention. Talking to Brooke Pryor of ESPN, Atzani addressed the idea of Rodgers being a demanding quarterback, someone who doesn't sugarcoat mistakes and isn't afraid to freeze receivers out if they aren't performing. And he's totally on board. I love that challenge, he said. I like that. I'd rather have someone that's dialed into the detail in the perimeter. I understand that he's hard on receivers, and I like that because I'm hard on receivers. This coaching philosophy is no accident. Atzani is preparing his young group to handle the pressure. And that pressure just happens to come in the form of a 4-time MVP who expects perfection. This is where a guy like Tyler Boyd could really shine. He's played with Joe Burrow. He's competed in high-stakes games. He understands the nuances of route timing, reading coverage, and most importantly, winning Rodgers' trust. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, George Pickens. He's gone, traded to the Cowboys, and rumors continue to swirl that Rodgers had something to do with it. There were whispers never confirmed that Rodgers didn't want to deal with Pickens. Unpredictability and emotional outbursts, whether or not that's true, clear is that the team didn't want to take that risk. This could very well be Rodgers' last season. The front office clearly wants to give him a stable locker room. Pickens had all the talent in the world. But let's be real, if you pair him with a no-nonsense leader like Rodgers, and that relationship sours, the media circus would be unstoppable. So instead, the team shipped him off while his trade value was still high and brought in DK Metcalf, a physical freak who's kept a pretty low profile off the field. Now it's up to Rodgers to build chemistry with a new cast of characters, none of whom he's ever taken a snap with. So let's bring it full circle. Would Boyd mesh with Rodgers? All signs point to yes. Boyd's game isn't flashy, but that's exactly what Rodgers values. Someone who can find soft spots in zone coverage, run a crisp route, and catch the ball in traffic. You don't have to be a WR1 to make a difference with Rodgers. You just have to be reliable. If Austin or Wilson don't rise to the occasion during training camp, don't be surprised if Omar Khan picks up the phone. Boyd may not come in as the WR2, but he's a steady veteran who could make key plays in big moments, especially on third down and in the red zone. And Boyd wants to be here. That counts for something. The Pittsburgh Steelers stunned at the NFL. This offseason, when they acquired superstar wide receiver DK Metcalf from the Seattle Seahawks, fans were thrilled, and rightfully so. This is a guy who has the size, speed, and production to be a true WR1. But what flew under the radar? The brilliance of the contract general manager Omar Khan, structured according to ESPN's Don Graziano. DK Metcalf's $132 million extension might sound massive on paper, but it's actually a very team-friendly deal when you break it down. Here's the kicker: only $60 million is guaranteed. That includes a $30 million signing bonus and $30 million in guaranteed salary through the first 2 years. After that, nothing is guaranteed. What does that mean? It means this is really a 2-year deal. Starting in 2027, Metcalf's contract is structured around non-guaranteed roster bonuses, $6.5 million. In 2027, $5 million in 2028 and 2029. Each of those payments is due on the third day of the new league year, giving the Steelers full control. If they want to keep him, great. If not, they can walk away with minimal financial damage. Here's the really interesting part. According to Graziano, Metcalf himself seems to understand exactly what this contract means. He reportedly drew a smiley face next to his signature. On the contract page outlining the 2027 roster bonus, think about that. He didn't do that on any other page. That tells us everything. Metcalf knows this is a short-term audition in Pittsburgh. He's being paid big money now, but if he doesn't deliver over the next 2 years, the Steelers have every right to move on. It's a win-win deal. The Steelers get an elite talent under control without long-term risk, and Metcalf gets guaranteed cash up front with a chance to prove he belongs here long-term, and you better believe Metcalf is motivated. He's only 27 years old. If he crushes it in Pittsburgh, the team could restructure his deal or offer a brand new extension by 2026. But if things don't click, they can cut ties with minimal dead money. This is classic Omar Khan mastery. A smart, calculated gamble that gives Pittsburgh flexibility in a league where bad receiver contracts can sink entire rosters. Now let's switch gears and talk about Aaron Rodgers. Because something was said this week that could reshape the way Steelers fans look at our new quarterback. Former Jets running back Breece Hall, who played with Rodgers in New York during the 2023 and 2024 seasons, dropped some serious insight on the Get Got pod with Marshawn Lynch and Mike Robinson. His words, "great dude," comes off to people a certain way, but once you really get to know him, you realize how good of a person he is. That hits differently, doesn't it? Hall went on to say that Rodgers is very misunderstood. That's a powerful statement from someone who spent 2 years in the same locker room as him. In fact, Hall said his bond with Rodgers remains strong. To this day, even after the Jets parted ways with Rodgers earlier this year, "I love Aaron. Me and him still have a great relationship to this day. That's my guy. That's not just teammate speak. That's authentic respect." Let's be real. Rodgers' time with the Jets was chaotic. He tore his Achilles in Week 1 of the 2023 season, returned in 2024, and put up nearly 3,900 yards and 28 touchdowns in 13 games. Solid numbers by any measure. And yet, the Jets finished 5-12. Hall explained why. Organizational dysfunction. Head coach Robert Saleh was fired mid-season. The GM was gone. Players were scapegoated. The whole operation was in flames. Rodgers wasn't the problem. He was trying to lead through the chaos, and now he comes to Pittsburgh, a franchise known for stability, consistency, and a strong locker room culture. This might be exactly what Rodgers needs for his final NFL chapter. Here's the bigger picture. Steelers Nation. Rodgers joins an offense that's been rebuilt from the ground up. Metcalf, Freiermuth, Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson, a new OC in Arthur Smith. And yes, 2 backup quarterbacks ready to learn from one of the best. And if Breece Hall's insight is accurate, we're not just getting a future Hall of Famer on the field, we're getting a mentor, a leader, and a guy ready to go out on his own terms. The Steelers don't need Rodgers to turn back the clock to 2011. They need him to stabilize the offense, elevate his weapons, and guide this team deep into the playoffs, something we haven't seen in nearly a decade. And for all the criticism Rodgers has taken from the national media, his former teammates are painting a very different story. A story of loyalty, leadership, and quiet greatness behind closed doors. So let's wrap it up, Steelers fans. Should the team sign Tyler Boyd? Is he the right kind of veteran leader for this offense? Or should Pittsburgh keep investing reps in the younger guys like Wilson and Austin? Do you think Rodgers would thrive with a guy like Boyd in the slot? Or do you see this team staying put until after training camp? Let us know in the comments right now. We'll be reading through every single one. And if you've got predictions for the 2025 wide receiver depth chart, drop those below too. And of course, if you enjoyed this breakdown and want more exclusive Steelers updates just like this, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a beat. We've got a huge season ahead, and the story is only just beginning. Here we go, Steelers Nation. Let's ride.